Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hello, you're listening to the podcast. So there I was. It's how all great aviation tales begin. This is episode 148. You can run, but you're going to die tired.
So don't run, just die for
Just
crying
die.
out loud, right?
Just get
And
it
worst
over
case,
with.
Try not to be tired.
Right.
Hey,
Special voice there. Who's that? Fig?
Well, this is Fig, and I am actually flying with a two-time guest on the podcast, Chemo. Welcome, Chemo.
Thank you, sir. So happy to be here once again. I love you all, and this whole show is amazing, and I'm glad to be part of the trifecta hat trick.
There you go. Well, that's a good one. Here's the thing. As you can tell, the sound is a little off on this because these two knuckleheads are out partying together. Apparently, work is interfering with your podcast.
Hold on a second. We're working. We're working.
This is
yeah. We're not in the studio, and we're recording this from a phone, and we're on a layover, and this is the best we can do.
You're working the sandwich girls at the bar is what you're doing.
Hold on a second.
Improvise, adapt, and overcome, Marine, right?
There you go. Right on.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So, apparently work is interfering with their ability to podcast and record an intro, which we need to thank a couple people in our intro, Fig. Do you have any recollection of who that may be?
Actually, I do. Let's thank Chris Adams. That's Aircraft Chris. He's lost his mind, and he's donated $250 to us, cash donation. Thank you, first of all, very humbling. Thank you, Aircraft Chris. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, right.
Apparently, you make too much money in your current job.
No, that is awesome. And then also a previous guest, Sheriff. Holy cow!
Yeah, Sheriff. I think that was episode 12. We were on a mission from God. So, that was a fun one. And another thing, we got to thank this week our sponsor, HSI Wealth Strategies. So, folks, if you're thinking about retirement planning or consider reaching out to Robbie at HSI Wealth Strategies. Look, he sponsored a bunch of shows, but let him take a look at your current retirement plan. There's no obligation. And if he tells you what you like, you've made a great call. And if he doesn't tell you what you like, you don't lose anything. And by working with him, you help someone who supports the show, and everybody wins. So thanks to Robbie Walling and HSI Wealth Strategies. That's 214-JET-7030, 214-538-7030. So back to this week's show. Couple of hog drivers.
Hog drivers never disappoint. Never disappoint. Wee!
Right?
Like a pig. You know, get
ready to do some crunches, some core workout.
Oh my gosh. When I got done with this, I felt like I'd done 600 crunches because, first of all, they're a couple single seat dudes we can totally relate to. And they have great stories, and they have a great sense of humor. And sometimes you have to have a great sense of humor when you wield the kind of death and destruction that they do, right?
Right.
Otherwise, you just crumble under the stress.
Absolutely. To include the saying, they actually felt that, you can run, but you're going to die tired. So,
yeah, but just don't run.
Yeah. Some great call sign stories in there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
An opening story about crossing the pond.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Don't ruin that because, let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. He just wanted to die tired.
Yeah. Fiddle packs aren't just for urine, ladies and gentlemen, as you'll find out.
No, they're not. Oh, man. Well, Chemo, what are you up to? You going to come join us again soon?
I hope to. I love this show, and the minute you need me to be there, I will gladly be there. Right now, enjoying our company with Fig, and I've just learned that there's more translucent, like, over covers of women's bodies at the pool and beach where you can see through, but they think that it's actually clothing. I think it's a total mindfuck.
I don't know what he's talking about. We just left the orphanage. We were reading scriptures to the orphans.
I'm sorry. Yes. And as I left, I saw all of this and wondered what was being presented in front of me. And I thought to the gods, why doth thou punish me so?
Right? I could tell you were upset about that. So
yes, he's very upset, and I'm going to have to deal with him for the next 3 days, and I'm very upset about that.
It's a wonderful time.
And
A wonderful
3 days later, no shadow, extra winter,
Yeah,
all that good stuff.
we'll have a debrief for you, boss.
It sounds good. And chemo at 35,000 feet, don't roll inverted and shut off an engine. It scares the passengers. Right? Just saying.
Well, but if you can keep the rate of descent kind of a constant and smooth transition, even with one motor, they won't know the difference. They really don't have any idea.
All right. I you know what? You guys go have fun on your layover. We'll get out of the way and let these two hog drivers give you guys a core workout listening in the audience.
It's a great interview.
I'm looking forward to hearing all about it, and thank you so much for them to be a part of the group and share their stories. It's always a wonderful time.
All right, lads. Stay safe and check 6.
This here is a true story about crossing the pond at night in the world's smallest cockpit, on the tanker, through the weather. Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that, thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond.
So there I was, crossing the pond. Actually, it was daytime with T-Dub on my wing. We're probably at flight level 240, and I felt it coming. My breakfast just coming right back up, and I had nowhere for it to go except into a couple empty piddle packs that quickly filled up, overflowed, and the rest will make for a very appetizing story.
Oh.
But thankfully, T-Dub made sure I didn't run into him or anybody else during that flight while I was falling asleep and puking my guts out. So thanks, T-Dub.
You're welcome. Saved your life again.
Again.
That is just not awesome at all. But that's how aviation stories start sometimes. Welcome to So There I Was. This is Fig. I am in God's country, Kearney, Missouri. Where's my cohorst today?
I'm just outside Portsmouth, New Hampshire, the mouth of Ports, the old Pease Air Base, where occasionally our guests from today wandered through. A couple of combat vet hog drivers. Welcome, T-Dub, and welcome, Quintana, who opened that show with an appetizing story. Save me the chunky parts.
There's more to that one. Oh, yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. None of those like, oh, there I was strafing the bad guy story. More of the bro story.
Yeah, there's those two, but yeah.
Well, I think
that's what this is all about.
So you guys at A-10 hog drivers, I think, this is number 3 and 4, right? Because we had KC, and then we had.
Oh, this is more than that actually. Now we didn't have any for the longest time. And then our first hog relation was just blank on his name. I think it was episode 95. Professor from Oberlin College.
Yeah, he wrote the book.
Oh, right.
Wrote the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had Bacchus, and then we've since had Casey, Killer Chick, and Soup, her husband.
Oh, all right. So I think this is what 5 and 6. 6
yeah.
And 7? Woo! All right.
American heroes, all of them.
So, right. Well, you guys are heroes to a lot of people because, man, what a great cast bird. I'm still shocked the Marine Corps never bought the hog.
Well, couldn't land it on a ship. That's why.
Yeah,
right.
That's it. That's the only reason. It would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not the fact you couldn't land it on a ship. You just couldn't fold the wings up.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Right?
You just can't take it off from the ship. That's the problem.
Yeah. There's that. Oh, I don't know. The ship would almost do the cruise speed of the hog, wouldn't it? I mean, come on.
You just hold it, and the hog, just let the hog float up in the air, right?
Fly right next to it.
And just get a cable and just let it float up. I mean,
the only reason the hog has survived so long is because every time the Air Force starts talking about getting rid of it, the Army says, we'll buy it. Right. And then the Air Force says, no, we'll keep it because there's a lot of insecurity there. And
you damn right.
Just like every time the Army changes uniforms, the Air Force has to change uniforms.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Always insecure of our former big brother. So,
well, I mean, it's awesome having you guys here. I have nothing but respect for A-10 pilots because Repeat and I know exactly how hard that mission is. But let's back up a little bit and tell us. Well, first of all, did you guys meet before A-10s? Like, did you meet in flight school or after?
No, we met at Moody Air Force Base.
Okay.
Yeah. Quickly realized we were soulmates.
Yeah, it was like a bond.
There you go.
It's just, you can't pull this apart.
Yeah.
Well, T-Dub, when did you? How we always ask all our guests how did you get bit by the aviation bug? How did it all start for you?
So I had a very, very lucky and fortunate upbringing. My old man was a hog driver and flew for American Airlines. So I grew up just dreaming of strafing tanks. That was just the bottom line for me. That was just like, I mean, we had the 30 mils in the house. I heard his buddies coming over singing fighter pilot songs, and so I was hooked. So that's what I knew I wanted to do, and I was lucky that I had that because not everybody gets that.
No, shit.
So I had a mentor I was listening to the podcast with Wolfie, the Blue Angel. Like nobody, you got to know how to do these things, and my dad's like, here, call these people, they'll help you do it.
Right.
So it was perfect.
What about you, Quintana? How did it all start for you?
My father was a Marine. I mean, not my father, my grandfather was a Marine, World War II and Korean War. I had an uncle who was a Marine in Vietnam. So the military ran pretty deep in my family. And I knew pretty young I wanted to be in the military. I wanted to be an officer. So I decided I wanted to go to the Air Force Academy. I didn't even think I'd be able to fly because I didn't have perfect vision when I went. But, thankfully, when I graduated, they didn't care. They needed pilots so badly that, they would rubber stamp anything. So, but I know my second year at the academy, I decided I wanted to fly the A-10. That's the only thing I wanted to fly. When I went to pilot training, I knew that's what I wanted. I didn't really have a number 2 option. It was kind of the A-10 or bust just because of the mission. So, but before that, I had I'd never done any flying or really even knew anybody who was a pilot.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
okay.
we got guys from both extremes there, and I fall into the same category you did, Quintana. I had no guidance, had figured all this shit out on my own.
Did you fly gliders at the academy?
No, I did the jump program instead, but no, I did get my PPO academy because you get cool. That before you go off to pilot training.
Okay.
They had started that at that point, but yeah, now it's pretty robust there. Now even the prep school cadets get to go get their PPL. So they're really,
nice.
Yeah,
okay.
they're making it a kind of swinging that pendulum back where I think for a long time, a lot of cadets didn't want to fly. They just wanted to do their 5 and dive and get a contracting job and go make money in this corporate world. But I figure if you're going to be in the military, you might as well do something you can tell stories about.
Yeah, and if you're going to be in the Air Force, you might as well be on the pointy end of the spear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What year? What class were you at the academy, Quintana?
03.
And where did you go to school, T-Dub?
Oh, the great University of North Texas, just north of me, up in Denton.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you start flying? Did you get your PPL or anything?
Oh yeah, I soloed an airplane on my 16th birthday.
What
as
was
early as you can? Yeah.
What was your commissioning source?
The Air National Guard. So they did back then. They had their own OTS. It was awesome.
At
6 weeks.
Knoxville.
At Knoxville.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So tough.
Yeah, T-Dub's a good baby. He was a guard guy his whole life.
I'm a guard baby.
Guard baby.
Yeah.
And so, so was Moody joint guard, reserve, guard? How'd you guys end up there together?
Moody was an active duty base. I left the guard and joined the reserves at Moody, and we were an active associate unit. So I flew day to day. I flew with the 75th Fighter Squadron, even though I was in the 76th. Day to day, I flew with the Sharks. I went to war with the Sharks. I did all the TDYs with the Sharks. Sat op soup when they lost an airplane with the Sharks. All that stuff. It was just. You're just integrated into the active duty. So.
It was great being paired with those reserve guys because they had a different mindset. You get an active duty fighter squadron and you sprint marathons. For 3 years, you sprint, as if there's a finish line somewhere and you're going to be able to pull it back, but you never do. But then you pair it with these reserve guys who are, you're lucky if you can get them to jog sometimes. And so it really balances it out. They bring some real balance and perspective to the profession.
Nice.
Right. Oh, yeah. That may be a show title there. You sprint marathons.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's so true though, isn't it?
I mean, it's so true.
Different mindset.
Guys, which is why guys, they get out after their 10-year commitment, go to the airlines because they're done sprinting. Can't take it anymore.
No kidding. All right. And so T-Dub actually flew some with Bacchus. You flew with him, right? With Bacchus?
Yeah. So I went to OIF with Bacchus. So when I was started out at Barnes Guard Base, and Barnes and Bradley teamed up to do OIF. So in, what was it? February of 2003, March of 2003, we were in Iraq flying together. So yeah. Good man.
How about that?
Yeah.
So, suddenly the world got a little smaller, didn't it, Repeat?
Yeah, it really did.
It always does in aviation.
Aviation is a small world. And so for those wondering, we had Bacchus on episode 118. Put the thing on the thing.
Yeah, you put the thing on the thing.
That's all you do. Easy as that.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
Well, speaking
that was really great. We paired up 2 squadrons, and man, it was just an awesome brotherhood. So it was great. Couldn't complain. So.
Well, see, speaking of putting the thing on the thing, I'm looking through some of the show notes, and I think I know what you're talking about here. But can you? So I got a non-combat story for you, and it says something about the dreaded black one. So it's a black. So what is that?
Black one. So I don't know what Marine Corps grade sheets are like, but in the fighter squadron, you can pass a ride if it's 1 through 5, right? Is it 5 or 4?
I think 4.
1 through 4, yeah. 1 through 4. So the 4 is like a unicorn. You've heard of them, but you never see them.
Okay.
And then so we normally live in 3 and 2. 1 is you fail, but you can do it again, or 0, which is you're dangerous and we need to really evaluate. But there's a way to get almost worse than either of those, which is you passed, but you passed to the lowest standard possible. And that's the black one. So instead of writing the 1 in a red, do it again. Black one, you're not going to repeat this ride. You're certified, but you're the worst we've ever certified.
So it's a black number 1, a black 1.
Yeah, you write the number 1 on the grade sheet and it's black. And I had the one time in my life I give this black one to one of our best bros, one of the founding members of what we call ourselves the Shark Bible Club. And he was doing a forward air controller instructor upgrade. So he's on his FAC upgrade. And I had every letter of X all maxed out. So I'm his instructor of record. And he just about runs into me, and I, tell him, scream at him, knock it off, and blah, blah, blah. And I get back and I'm talking to the commander because I'm like, dude, Steamer, I don't know what to do. The whole ride was great till he almost killed me. He's like, well, everything else was good. I go, yeah.
Until the killed me part, right?
The almost killed me part. He's like, have you ever thought about getting a black one? And I'm like, no. But we had to consult, the legends of the hog to find out if this was even.
Didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah, we're like, this is an option? And so the story goes, I gave him a black one, and we never let him live it down, do we, Quintana?
Yeah.
So a black one is qualified, right? But just meet
well, a 1 is almost
requirements?
Always a fail. Like 1, you hook the ride, you do it again, but it's a red one.
You write it in red.
You write it in red because you failed.
Yeah, you write it in red. But if you write a 1 in black, you don't have to do it again. You qualified, but you are like
okay, I got it.
There's nothing lower.
No one wants to fly with you, but other than that,
it's almost like one of those. Hey, you're never going to do this mission for real. So let's go ahead and just give you the credit and move on.
That may or may not have gone into Steamer's thinking because he was going off to teach at the FTU at the time. So his next flight at Moody was his last flight at Moody, and he was going to go off and teach new baby hog drivers out in Tucson. So I think it was like, he's got some time before he'll ever do this again. So just go ahead and give him the black one. That'll send the message. And yeah, we've never let him live it down, and now it's recorded for YouTube, and he'll hate me for it, but he'll still be my bro.
There you go. Is that the one you pranked him on? That next flight?
The next flight, his Finney flight. So same guys. My daughter calls him the angel without hair because he's the nicest fighter pilot you've ever met in your life. And for the Finney flight, I did the frozen flight suit, the frozen spare flight suit. I found the spare flight suit. I froze both of them.
Okay.
There's the picture. Covered. We got him with a shaving cream bomb at the end. I put a parking cone in his jet before he started. But the best part of the prank was moments before we stepped, I took the mask off of his helmet and I unzipped the lower portion of my flight suit. I placed the mask in there.
You cock swapped it.
Just let it hang out like an elephant's trunk and take a couple pictures. And then once I saw him neatly strapped in his, the hose from the helmet's long, Quintana, not me. Yeah. And then moments before when he's strapped in, but I know he can't get out of the jet, but I knew he still had his cell phone on. I texted him the picture. So he had to fly the whole time knowing that.
That is rich.
Yeah.
Hey, can I back up and ask you real quick? You went by this real fast, but you said Shark Bite Club or Shark Bible?
A Shark Bible Club.
Shark Bible Club.
So
SPC.
Yeah. It's our texting thread.
Okay.
Right? So hopefully, if somebody ever audits our text messages, they go through and they see, oh, it just says Shark Bible Club. Nothing to see here. Let's move on.
Shark Bible Club.
Yeah. Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, we'll have to edit that out.
Yeah.
Actually, don't let anybody know that. Yeah, we got to rename it.
A little tactical deception. I like that.
Yeah.
But it's just 5 bros that are just, everybody in this fighter squadron finds their friends. And we couldn't be tighter, could we, Kia?
Yeah, we've had 3 retirements so far that we've all gone to. Everybody came up for my wedding. I got my retirement coming up. Everybody's going to come out for. So, we text on a daily basis pretty much.
And you can't forget my dad's funeral. You guys all made it down to that.
Yeah, we went down for the funeral.
Kind of stuff, just tight, just stuff that the text thread's never dry. It's texting every day, and it's just nice. 5 bros that we just it's kind of funny how the whole thing really began, but as we kind of hung out together, and then I think we really solidified it the night that the guy who got the black one, decided to smack me in the face with a dirty plunger. And so I tackled him, burned my face, burned his prized beloved Asante Samuel Philly Eagles jersey. So I've got a cigar burn on my face. He's got a burnt back with this. And Quintana and Vifa and Balls are just over there laughing their asses off. And we went around and drove with chalk rock, drew phallic shaped symbols, should we say, on a war hero's driveway.
Nice.
Yep. We just knock on doors, randomly show up and ask for beer and
invade
people's homes.
Yeah, invade.
Yeah. That was the fun part about living in a community with guys from the squadron. Now, if I did that in my neighborhood, I'd get somebody call the cops on me.
Oh yeah. Some neighborhoods you get shot. Knocking on the door. That's great. That's great. Green light. We used to call that green lighting. You just show up. Everybody shows up at somebody's house.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're having a party.
Yep.
You didn't know it.
Yep.
A no-host social.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, fantastic.
I guess.
So, let's back up a little bit. Quia, we didn't get your flight school. So you finished the academy and went to flight school. Where'd you go to basic and then the FTU?
So I went to pilot training at Shepherd. So I was with all the Euro NATO guys. So got exposed to Germans and Italians and
Wichita Falls, Texas.
Wichita Falls. Yeah. So Texoma. So I spent 2 years there, did IFF there, and then went on to Tucson, which is where the A-10 schoolhouse is.
Okay.
And finished that in 05, early 06, then went out to Korea for a year. Man, talk about a fun place for as a lieutenant, getting to do your first year in a fighter squadron in South Korea. That right there is
damn. And as soon as you said that, Fig, we overlooked G. That was our other.
Oh, that's right.
Driver.
Yeah. Osan.
Yeah,
you're in Osan, right?
You guys know G Spot, Tammy Bartlett? No. Okay.
The name is familiar. I don't think I've ever found
the
it.
Call sign, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have to go back and look at my notes, which I can't find at the moment. But I would remember. I would have written down when she was there, and I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, but we actually got to go back to Korea. We spent some time in Korea again when we were in the Sharks because they were doing what was it called? A force
TSP.
TSP.
Support package.
Theater support package. So they needed some A-10s over there. Turned out the F-16s from Osan went to Alaska for a red flag. And they're like, well, we need more iron on the peninsula. So they brought over A-10s.
Nice.
And we lived in
How
the
many
wild,
weeks
wild
did that
West.
flight take?
Man, that was not quite as long as it takes to get to Bagram, I think, because we went the opposite direction.
Oh, yeah.
We started in Georgia, went through Arizona, and then went out to Hawaii, and then we went to Wake Island. Wake Island was an experience,
right?
Yeah, we've been repeating. I've been through.
Were
there
you?
a couple
Were you there,
times.
Tito?
Yeah, we've been through.
No,
Wake.
I wasn't there.
Oh, you didn't do the Wake Island trip?
Yeah, no, I didn't do the Wake.
It's like an island that exists to run an airfield.
It's an airfield.
That's the only reason it's there.
Yeah. It's a fuel stop in the middle of the Pacific.
We met some weirdos there. Some contractors that just live there indefinitely.
Yeah,
And,
when you can't get any farther away, you end up at Wake Island.
Yeah.
Right? It's as far as
Man,
you
that's
can
just
get.
out in the middle of the ocean. Wow.
2,000 miles from the nearest land. Yeah. Where America's Day really begins. So
Yeah.
So hey, wait, let's back up a second. You when you were in Korea the second time for that theater
TSP.
beef up, were you flying? Were you in Osan or were you down at Kunsan?
We're Osan. That's the only
that's where all
place they've had the hogs.
Okay, that's where all the support was. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Although I've been down to Kunsan, man, that place, I thought Osan was the Wild West. And then you go down to Kunsan and those guys live like animals down there. At least they did in 2006. It was
Repeat
dangerous.
and I made a few passes through Kunsan in 1992, and we called it the Kunsan Triangle because whenever somebody went there, they were lost for 3 or 4 days. Somebody always broke, and you were in a transient. You lost contact with them. Of course, this was before cell phones. It was kind of a shit show.
Did you guys ever drive in Korea?
No.
So when we would drive, but there was a lane just for Americans. It was called the superpower lane, and it was the shoulder of the highway because Korea, it's packed. Traffic does not move freely. It's just bumper to bumper. So we just jump on the shoulder and drive. It's the superpower lane. So that's how we got everywhere.
No shit.
Yeah,
I mean, that was
not kidding.
standard. Oh my gosh, that's
true
fun.
story.
Okay.
And sometimes the cops would even flash their lights, but they were stuck in traffic. They couldn't get out to chase us. Yeah.
Hey, you slow down. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It's fun being a superpower.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. I'm going through the. Oh, man.
Well, we're doing that. T-Dub, so where'd you go to primary?
So I went to Vance,
Okay.
started out at Vance, yeah. Then from Vance, same thing as Quintana out to Tucson. For a while, there's another RTU at Barksdale, a reserve run.
Oh, that's way up north in Shreveport.
FTU, yeah. And then started at Vance. Then, like I said, started as a guard baby up at Barnes, and then BRAC happened. So I left Barnes, went and joined the Arkansas Guard for a little while, and then that's when I jumped in the reserves and enjoyed the hell out of my time at Moody. It was a blast.
What was it like going through flight school, knowing you were going to get a tactical single seat jet? Though, I mean, you're not having to compete for jets. Was that entertainment or?
You would think that would be easy, but I told you my old man was a hog driver.
Right
So,
on.
and literally the day I left for pilot training, I'm packing up in my truck and I leave. My dad says, "Hell, son, if you don't come back number one in your class, don't come back at all."
Thanks,
So
Bob.
I think I had more pressure than everybody fighting for a spot, and he'd always call me and be like, "Hey, yeah, I never failed that ride. I had excellence on every test and all this stuff." So he was,
pressure.
and I'm sure he was totally full of shit. Same thing I did to my son, but just kept the pressure on. So, but yeah, you knew that if I didn't screw up too bad, I would end up back at Barnes. But we had a lot of really amazing hog drivers at Barnes, like a lot of legends in the A-10 community. we had like almost half of our squadron was weapons school graduates. So
wow.
you kind of knew like I had to be ready. Yeah. So as much as I would have loved to have just slacked off and played golf more, pilot training, between my dad knowing where I was going. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not known for my work ethic, but
this is true. I can verify that.
I'm more of an ideas man, right, Quintana? I come up with the ideas and let the hard workers.
Let other people execute.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, all right. When was your dad active?
So he was active, but not in the hog. He got out of active duty in like 78 time frame. So I was born at Willie when he was an IP out there, where he taught the first class of women. And then we left Willie. He joined the reserves out of Barksdale flying A-37s and flew hogs so he did A-37s for about 2 or 3 years and then hogs for about 12 years. And then he retired just after the Gulf War because he missed it. Okay. He missed it. He was very jealous that as a lieutenant, I was shooting tanks in Iraq and he had never got to go to combat. So, yeah.
Right.
We
Fig and I don't know what that's like.
We wouldn't know what that's like either.
Yeah, well, he was like Vietnam era, so he had applied. He was trying to get into Vietnam, but it was right at the end. So then like he goes and teaches 38s, and the rest is history. And then they were supposed to. They had them all mobilized, but never went to Desert Storm. So. Because that ended too fast.
Gee, I know what that's like.
Yeah, we know exactly what that's like.
Yeah, I heard you guys on the Wolfie podcast. Yeah.
Oh, good golly.
But what was his name?
Hey, there's worse
Bernard
things.
Reporting to you live from underneath a bed on the 9th floor of the Al Rashid Hotel. What was his name? Bernard something on CNN. Oh well. Yeah. We saw a lot of that. We didn't see any combat.
Yeah.
I'll repeat it again. What are 2 things you'll never see in Saudi Arabia? A ham sandwich and a bulldog. So, boy, that sucked.
That's all right. Yeah. It's all right. It's character builder, right?
Right.
Character builder.
Yeah.
We took a guy in Afghanistan in 2010. His first sortie without a grade sheet, he Winchestered the jet.
Yeah.
Lieutenant. First sortie without a grade sheet. He was MQT, and we went out the door. And the first time he wasn't being graded, he Winchestered the jet.
Okay, so we know what that means, but tell us what MQT and Winchester is for the non-aviation listeners.
So MQT, mission qualification training, that's what he does when he gets back from his A-10 school to make sure he's a combat mission ready hog driver. Yep. And then Winchester the jet was he cleared everything off. Quintana, did he clear everything off, including all the rockets? I think so.
I think so. They probably just emptied the rockets for fun, just to say.
Yeah, probably for fun. Yeah,
everything.
Because we were carrying Willie Pete's at the time, so they didn't really need to shoot those off. But they're like, yeah, we got to get them all off.
Those are fun to shoot too.
Yeah.
Okay. Explain what Willie Pete's are.
Yeah, they are fun. All right, Quintana, go ahead.
Willie Pete, white phosphorus rockets. They're usually used for marking. So the FAC A roll and then the A-10s marking targets. We usually carried 14, maybe 14 rockets.
Yeah.
On a combat load. So you could mark it, and then it throws up a cloud of white smoke, and then you talk off from that to your wingman or to the JTACs on the ground, which you guys recently had a JTAC on the podcast. Yeah. So you use that, and then they say, hey, 50 meters east of the smoke. And it's a lot easier to pinpoint where the bad guys are.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
So that white phosphorus, man, that stuff will light magnesium on fire. It's hot.
I think the laws of war don't allow you to target humans with Willie Pete rockets.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're not supposed to do that.
Well, they never get close.
Yeah, right. How would they know? But, it's not like you have precision control over them. So
over a rocket, especially, right?
Yeah.
Were those the 2.5 or 5-inch rockets?
Yeah, the 2.75, 2 3/4.
275.
Yeah, that's what we shot those. So that there's nothing funner than shooting forward firing ordnance. But every once in a while, one of those rockets would come off, and one of the fins wouldn't be right, and it would do some
do some crazy stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, I saw a Maverick. I saw an AGM-65 go stupid once when we were in Korea shooting at some big rocks. Like you would go down to the ocean. Just off the peninsula, there's a big rock there, and you'd have to circle to make sure there's no fishermen around, or if they were there, maybe throw out some flares, scare them off.
Hear that turnip?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But then we were loaded with these B model AGMs, So, and I think they were like $80,000 to $100,000 a piece, but we got to fire them off in training. So I was recording. It was shooter recorder, so I could get the video
the glory
guy in front of me. Yeah. So I shot my own, and he was recording mine, but then I was shooting his, and it fires off, and then it just hooks a left 180.
Oh shit!
Like I just move out of the way and I call stupid Maverick, and I have no idea where that thing is.
Not a piece of ordnance you want to be on the business end of.
There's one coming off. There's one right there coming off the rail.
Yeah.
So
that's 632. That's a jet I used to fly.
No way.
That was a Barnes Guard jet. Yeah, 632.
All right.
Well, Bago or Sticks, one of those guys just threw that picture.
Those guys are amazing.
Yeah, man.
They like read your mind, and then they put photos up on the YouTube stream of what you're going to say next.
Yeah. Hey, you can tell I wasn't wearing my readers. I had to like zoom in to look at it.
Yeah, impressive.
I know.
Nice.
I'll be 50 soon, buddy. I'm the oldest of the Shark Bible Club, but the real oldest is Balls.
It's Balls.
He's like Grandpa Balls, man.
He's at least like 65. His body's at least 65.
Yeah, his body's just worn out.
Yeah. Well, now that we're there, then we got to do call signs. How'd Balls get his? And then we got to get you, Quintana, and you, TW.
How did Balls get it?
I don't know, because I think it was one of those self-fulfilling prophecies.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into too many details, but just recently, in the last couple of years, he's had the call sign for a decade and a half or so.
Decades, yeah.
And then in the last couple of years ago, he had I don't know what the medical term is, but it was elephantitis of the left testicle.
Oh, gee.
And this thing, you'd have to get a needle in there and just drain it every so often. There's nothing. They had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So the call sign.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. He showed it to me, too. Don't get him drunk in the pool, because that thing floats to the top, man. It's like a freaking life preserver floating on the top of the pool.
A little men's health discussion here on So There I Was today, folks. Glad you could join us.
Meteorologist and take
Balls, you need a chair? Nope, I got my own.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a portable beanbag,
Oh my gosh.
That's Balls.
Okay.
T-Dub.
Well,
I guess
just
you
say
can
it out loud.
You could just read his.
Yeah.
That's why he puts his full name on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said you got it. You were playing crud.
Yeah. So it started out. I was playing crud before I went to pilot training. I was a guard baby up at Barnes, and I look up at the crud board, and it's got TW, and I just thought that was the greatest thing, because it really felt like I already belonged to the club that I had dreamed for my whole life. Get home, tell my wife, I'm like, hey, they called me twat. It's the greatest thing ever. And she's like, oh, that's terrible. Well, then I ended up with a couple other interim call signs. I had Penis, and Ritalin. And Ritalin kind of makes sense if you spend any time with me. And then we did a real renaming. And my wife thought that, at the time, the commander and his wife and my wife were really good buddies, and we were hanging out at their house. And she thought that she could trust him, that he was in the trust tree. And the twat had gone away. Like, it had just kind of gone away. But they're going to do a renaming, so I was probably going to get Ritalin just official and again. Well, she tells Tom Chuck that the worst thing you guys could do would be if you brought that twat call sign back. So when the naming was almost finished, and it's like, okay, we're just going to vote on Ritalin, he revealed the information from the trust tree that she thought she could include him in, and then it stuck, and then there it was after that. So yep, so stuck.
T-Dub.
Yep. So T-Dub for short, because you can't say twat in the squadron.
Sure.
Yeah, on the radio. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty awesome. I like that story.
That is fantastic. That reminds me of the Pester one, though. Ritalin.
Yeah.
How'd you get the call sign Pester? You ever spend any time with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like anybody named Alf.
Yeah, Alf.
Yeah.
We love him, but he's Alf.
Yeah, there you go. All
right. What about Quintana?
So, have you guys ever seen The Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
So, the Jesus, his name is Quintana. In the movie. There's that scene of him. I don't know which part of the story to tell first, but I'll just tell who Quintana is. But they're bowling, and Donnie is talking about Quintana, and one of the other guys says, well, he's a pederast. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, he spent 6 months in Chino for exposing himself to an 8-year-old.
He's a pederast.
So now let's clarify.
She wasn't 8, but she was young.
She wasn't 8. She was 18.
Oh boy!
When I got married right out of the academy.
That's your story, and
my
you're
reputation
stuck with it.
My reputation preceded me. There you go. That's Quintana.
Just put it this way. My wife loves Quintana, but I don't let him near my daughters.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
No, I'm just kidding. They love him too.
Yeah. So that and then audio visual always wins. So if you show a video during a roll call, that usually takes the cake, and it's going to win the name. I think my call sign in not pilot training, my call sign in A-10 RTU was Whitley. Wife isn't totally legal yet.
Yeah. She was like 19, 18.
Well, in Texas. So here's the cool thing about, we got married, moved to Texas. In Texas, if you're 18, you can legally drink with your guardian, your legal guardian. So fantastic. I would carry a photocopy of our marriage license in my wallet, and we'd go to the bars and show them the marriage license. They let us in.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Texas is pretty cool.
Old enough to be married, not old enough to drink on your own.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. I like both of those stories.
That's fabulous.
Fantastic.
Oh, man. Oh, I got to catch my breath.
All right, hold on.
This is going to be good. Holy shit. We haven't even gotten to the flying stories and the combat stories yet, really, so. Oh, right. Man. How about, let's go to this one. You have in the notes, flying home from Afghanistan, and you're in Sicily, and your canopy was broke?
Yeah, well, so it wasn't. So we from Sicily, but we landed at
not working.
Yeah, so we got it to work getting out of the Azores, and then we landed in Massachusetts at Westover after Quintana had a really terrible flight. We landed and the canopy's broken. And one thing that when you grow up a guard baby, you don't really understand how valuable the relationships are with your maintainers that we had that active duty guys didn't always get.
Right.
And so this canopy's broke. If I call the base at Moody and say, "Hey, I got a broke canopy," we're talking, days, weeks. I'm going to be left there by myself. The other guys are going to go on home and, get to kiss mom and the kids and do all the other fun stuff that happens after you return.
And you didn't want the guys going home and kissing your wife.
Kissing my wife and kids.
Right.
Exactly. Because I know Quintana very well.
Again.
Yeah.
So, age doesn't matter, so why should marital status? I mean, come on.
Exactly, right? Listen, I mean, he has his needs. It's fine. Like, everybody needs things. His needs are different, So, no, the best part about that was that I was able to just pick up the phone and call one of my crew chief buddies from Barnes, 20 minutes from Westover, and say, "Hey, man, you want to climb back in a hog? Because I need my canopy fixed." And so he said, "Hell yeah," gets a couple other crew chief buddies, and Mikey drives out and shows up at Westover, and I'm like, "Dude, I think you can fix this." He's like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly what this is." And they fix it, button me up in the cockpit, and they launched me out, and I, got launched out by two of my best friends again that I hadn't seen in years, and just having that relationship that you can't get anywhere else. That was a guard maintenance relationship, highly illegal. I'm sure the Air Force would have freaked out if they knew no longer certified crew chief was working on the jet, but a guy who had worked on that jet since it was brand new, So it was pretty cool.
That's true. That's spot on.
Yeah, guard's awesome for stuff like that.
Spot on.
That's fantastic.
Well,
quick question: Do you go through, or does the canopy come off? If you pull?
It comes off. Yeah, it comes off. Yeah.
Okay. So did he lock you in?
Yeah.
Was it going to come off if you needed it?
Yeah. It should have come off if I needed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to know about the unicorn of Kandahar, or the Kandahar Unicorn.
Kandahar was such a sketchy place.
First of all, give me a timestamp. What year are we talking here?
2010.
Yeah.
Okay.
T-Dub's got the story on the unicorn, but you should probably start with the rating scale.
Yeah.
That's used when you're deployed, right?
So,
yeah.
You know the rating scale, right?
It's
binary, 1 or 0. You're either in or out with her,
right?
Like she's a yes or a no. There's no maybe. It depends how many drinks you are deployed, and it's a 1 or 0.
Yeah.
So then there's always the random, everybody talks about the hot chick that they've seen at the base. And they're like, BS, I've never seen her. Oh, everybody talks about it. So just like the unicorn, everybody talks about it, but nobody's ever seen it. And we had this very Mormon, very family man start talking about the unicorn of Kandahar. And a chick that lived in the Canadian compound. She's Canadian. And
a Canadian girlfriend, even better.
yeah. Which, by the way, they had Hortons at the Canadian compound over there, and Tim Hortons. So now we're going to Tim Hortons all the time, trying to find the Canadian compound hot chick.
Yeah.
Well, so he finds out, like he finds her, he stalks her. He's like, she eats at this chow hall, she at this time, and all this stuff. And so like it kind of becomes this like little mini like squadron like thing of who's looking for her. And if you find a picture with her, then you prove that the unicorn's real and you were going to get a free beer when you got back to the States. So we finally went to the chow hall that he said, and at whatever time, and I'm sitting there and my buddy's trying to take a picture of me across the table, but the camera's doing this. It's not looking at me. It's it's over my shoulder.
Focusing.
And here comes this, relatively cute, girl, and she's looking at us like, why is he taking a picture of me? I'm like, little does she know you're the unicorn.
Nice.
She was the unicorn of Canada. So we got back early. Canadian. Yeah, a Canadian unicorn, even better.
Well done.
Dude, that's
well played.
That's AI. Somebody's playing with AI right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I got back early because we went from like 18 to 12 dead. So that's when Quintana and I flew back. That goes back to the There I Was story. And when I got home, my wife and I were filling up stuff with Pringles cans with Coors Lights, apple juice bottles with Jim Beam, and a stuffed unicorn to send back so that they had their own unicorn. So, yeah.
Well, we had a little overlap in Afghanistan. I was there for I was there for a little time in 9 and then again, 10 and 11. Fall of 10 to spring of 11.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's when the sharks were there. Yep.
Did not know there was a unicorn there.
Yeah. Or sharks. You weren't the sharks yet, though, I guess.
No, that was the sharks.
Yeah, okay,
well, the sharks is the squadron. Yeah, that's why we call it.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking the Bible shark.
Yeah, Bible Club. Yeah, but yeah,
different sharks.
Where that comes from. We were the tiger sharks.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this squadron. Yeah.
All right. Well, how about we circle back to the opening tease a little bit there? So you're trying to transit the pond and you're puking your guts out. Why were you sick?
So
poisoning?
I have no idea. We all ate breakfast at the same place. So there's 6 of us slated to go home, and we're flying from the Azores back to
Westover.
Westover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Westover to T-Dub's old squadron. And it's an 8-hour flight over the pond. And, you just hang on the back of a tanker for 8 hours and you refuel, 10 or 12 times during that sortie. But we go out to breakfast early that morning at whatever the eatery they have there. And then we go to the jets, start firing them up. And I started feeling a little, I only ate half my breakfast because I didn't feel quite right. Then I get in the jet and I'm still not feeling quite right, but I'm like, it's go home day. I'm going. And then one of the guys, he couldn't get his APU started. And there's no spare APU. There's no spare jet. It's going to take a few days to get one there. So his wingman has to stay behind with him because we never leave just one, right? We left 2 there to hang out until that thing gets fixed. And I almost keyed the mic and was like, I'll take it. I'll stay back with him because I'm not feeling good. But I caught myself. I was like, nope, there's no way. I'm going home. So we get airborne, and about an hour into the flight, it's coming. When that's coming back up. When it's going to happen. So I take, we got a stack of piddle packs, and I grab one and I open it up. For those who don't know what a piddle pack is, it's a plastic bag with some granular substance in it that solidifies whatever liquid you may need to relieve yourself of.
Yeah.
While you're flying. So that's the only thing I have to throw up into, except for like a helmet bag. I'm not going to do that. So I throw up into this thing, and then I throw up again, and it starts to overflow.
Oh, boy.
So I got one full piddle back here. I'm unfolding another one, or I'm like laying it up against the canopy while I'm unfolding another one to start throwing up in that one. And then I start taking the full one. I start folding it over, and it's like oozing out everywhere. So now I've got a full one and a half full one. I start pouring the full one into the half full one to even it out, so I can close them, and the smell will hopefully dissipate. It doesn't. And then I key the mic and tell flight lead, hey, I just threw up, man. So just keep an eye on me. I'm not feeling good. I'm fine. Let's press. But just so you know, one, keep an eye on, maybe I was 3 or 4. And about 5 minutes later, T-Dub gets on the mic. He's like, man, boys, that breakfast was good. That French toast and scrambled eggs was so good. And then it comes again.
It was your buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy's half a word.
That was the word. And then I started falling asleep. So I popped 2 Go pills. Nothing. An hour later, I'm still falling asleep. So I pop a 3rd Go pill. Oh, boy. Nothing. I'm still falling asleep. So I'm like, well, that's not going to work. So I tell him, hey, keep an eye on me because I'm falling asleep here. So I just put it on autopilot. I'd close my eyes for a while. And then
I'd wake him up,
look up and see how close I am to anybody. But I'm figuring, hey, they're going to tell me if I'm too close or too far away.
Too far away.
Yeah. But that was absolutely awful. Then we get to Westover, and we land, and we go to Wendy's, and I get the biggest strawberry milkshake I can find, like something to fill my stomach back up. And I'm so dehydrated. I didn't even relieve myself the entire flight because there was nothing in me.
Well, Derry's going to help.
Yeah, that was a great call. I immediately regret this decision.
That's a good place to start. Yeah.
So I drink that full thing. We get to the hotel after hours of hanging out in the squadron with T-Dub's old buddies, and I'm just sitting there in the corner miserable. We get to the hotel, and I'm feeling okay. I'm like, I'll order a little clam chowder and some crackers. So I eat that, and I immediately throw up again.
Oh, no.
Then I go to bed, and I wake up the next day, and I feel 100%. That's perfect. So we get in the jets with T-Dub's, fixed canopy, and we fly down the Hudson River, look over the Statue of Liberty, Ground Zero, all the way down and get home to Georgia. And, it was worth the trip. But man, that 8 hours was like 24
Brutal.
hours. It was terrible.
That's fun going down the Hudson, huh?
That was cool.
Yeah, we used to do that all the time.
As a big flight of A-10s or like 2 at a time? Or
We had 4.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because we ditched 2.
We usually travel in 6 across the pond for tanker purposes.
Okay.
I think
you
you
left
can
2
get
of them in the
6
Azores.
with 1 tanker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'd say we left the right 2 behind.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that one for sure.
Yeah.
Well, they're coming on next week. Tell their side of it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But that was the most miserable experience, but plenty of other fun ones.
Yeah. And I should have been more supportive. I apologize truly for making fun of you.
This is the first time you've ever apologized for that. You are.
I'm probably not serious. I am growing.
You're not.
Just kidding. No, I'm not.
So do they do a running of the bulls in Azores? Because I see a note here. It says running with the bulls. Well, who? Okay. Tell us.
So I did that. So that was fun. We had a few days there before we were traveling on to into country. So we would go from there to Sigonella, but we had a couple days. So we just went out. I mean, that island, you can drive around the island in a couple hours.
Right.
But we stopped in this little town. There's a big crowd. We're like, what's going on here? And then there's a big cage about 20 yards away. They open this cage and this giant bull just steps out and everybody jumps back. And so we're, oh, wow, I've never done this before. So we get as close as it's unbelievable how scary it is to get close to that thing. You're like, oh, that's not too scary. And then you get about 15 yards away and you're like, okay, that's close enough. But we do that. And then we get back. Oh, go ahead.
No, keep going.
We get back to, the chow hall on the base when we get back, and there's AFN commercials playing, the Armed Forces Network playing their stupid commercials.
Yeah.
And one of them is, hey, don't run with the bulls. According DOD, UCMJ code or whatever regulation. Blah,
now
blah,
they
blah,
tell me
says you're not allowed to run with the bulls. So,
oops.
Yeah. But, so I'm glad I did that before I found out I couldn't.
Right. Hey, well, you got plausible.
You're a good academy grad.
Yeah.
You probably would have followed the rules, right?
I was a pretty good rule follower.
Yeah, you were.
Was it you, Quintana, that hitchhiked out to the Persian Gulf to get a night on the aircraft carrier? What was that about?
Yeah. So
what carrier was it?
The USS Abe Lincoln.
All right,
Lincoln.
Yeah.
Hitchhiked,
if I'm not mistaken, that's the one in Top Gun 2, right? Because they had a little Lincoln doll on the.
I think you're right. That's right.
They should have put you in the movie, dude.
You didn't know I was?
Yeah.
With that hair, I mean, I'm just.
I know it's going to be real good after I retire. Just wait. But no, we had the F-18s were out there, and we would do. They do CAS in theater, and we would check in with them every once in a while and share an AO. And one of the guys in the squadron, Nike, was like, "Hey, Quintana, why don't we just ask Woody if we can go out to the carrier and talk CAS integration with these guys?"
That's a good excuse.
Yeah. So we told Woody, it was like, "Hey, can we go out to the carrier and discuss CAS integration?" He's like, "Yep, go." So we hitchhike. I think we just found flights. We went to Al Udeid. We went to Bahrain. Caught a cod onto the Abe Lincoln. Spent 24 hours there, which is way more than I ever want to spend on a carrier again. I don't know how you guys do that. I mean, that is...
Well, you guys weren't a transient thing. Normally when you're living on a carrier, you have a stateroom, but still, it's not as romantic as everybody thinks
it's as big as a Nissan Frontier, You're at the stateroom. Only 4 of you.
Only 4. Yeah. Well, and if you're over, I'm 5'10". If you're over 5'10", that's miserable being on a carrier.
Oh yeah, banging your head on the overhead all the time, and and then of course the company grade officers all sleep right under the steam cat, and they exercise that thing at pre sunrise every morning. Boom, boom.
What is the steam cat? The
catapult.
The catapult. Okay. Well, I was staying on the other end of the some Master Chief's room on the top bunk, right under the cable.
Oh, nice. Resting cable. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So I heard that one going off all night long, but somehow I slept. But yeah, the next day I was ready. Yeah. So when we get on the COD to leave to get catapulted off the next day, and they say, "Hey, tighten your seatbelts, cross your arms, and cross your legs."
Cross yourself.
Nike. Well, me and Nike looked at each other and we're like, "Nah." So we loosened our seatbelts and we just kept our arms out like this, and our legs just flat on the floor. And they shot off, and man, we flew forward on the seats. Our arms and legs went straight out like Frankenstein, and it was an exciting ride.
Yeah, because you're facing backwards. You're facing backwards aft on the COD. Yeah. Which helps when you're landing, but when you're getting shot off, that you have that experience.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
We've had a couple of COD guys on our podcast.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Woody. In your notes, you talk about a Marine with a call sign Halo, but you said Woody. Was that another Marine?
No, Woody was our squadron commander.
Squadron commander. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Because we had a Marine we served with, Woody. And, we're kind of looking for him still, actually. Trying to catch up with him. But
he's out. He's loose. He's loose somewhere.
Right? Yeah. I understand he's like he's a CEO or something of some company. I think it was Bart was telling us that.
All right. Well, Woody, we're looking for you. So
come on, Woody.
Keep your head on a swivel.
The challenge is up. You know what? While we're looking, we ought to take just a minute or so and thank Robbie Walling for helping bring this show to you. And then we'll continue with some more hijinks and fun. Hey, Fick. So there I was.
Oh, here we go.
Flying high, thinking I had my retirement strategy all lined up. Then I learned the hard way how quickly turbulence can shake that plan up.
Let's face it, folks. Planning for a retirement is a lot like flying IFR in a storm. Without the right instruments, if you're just 1 degree off course, before you know it, you're way off course. That's where HSI Wealth Strategies comes in.
HSI, which stands for Horizontal Situation Indicator, that's the trusty gauge in your cockpit that keeps you on course, just like their team keeps you on course for a secure retirement.
And the folks at HSI know a thing or two about the cockpit. These aren't your average wealth advisors. They're also pilots, just like us. Air Guard and civil aviators who don't just fly the line, they now guide the bottom line. Plus, they're seasoned at working with airline professionals, high net worth individuals, and business owners to ensure financial plans that can withstand any headwind.
Absolutely. And they know the ins and outs of the airline retirement plans like nobody else. From maximizing your accumulation while you're earning those high altitude salaries to minimizing your tax liabilities when it's time to pull back on the throttle. Because let's face it, taxes and inflation are like headwinds working against your glide path to a smooth retirement.
And don't fall into the trap of conventional wisdom when it comes to retirement planning. That kind of advice is like asking someone who's never flown to land the plane for you. We, as pilots, have unique challenges, and HSI gets that. They know how to help you avoid a hard landing on your financial future.
And let's talk about the golden rule of pilot retirement. Hey, Fig, how does a pilot make $1 million in his retirement account?
Well, he starts with $2 million and manages it himself for 6 months.
Bingo. And sadly, I've seen that happen.
Oh, dude. So true. That's why you've got to get a team in your corner who actually knows what they're doing. And with HSI, you're not only getting financial advisors, you're getting fellow pilots who still fly, who know exactly what it's like to be in your seat.
HSI can save you serious money. On average, they're finding their clients $1 million to $1.5 million just by making a few course corrections. Imagine what a little trim and rudder input could do for your retirement account.
So whether you're in the thick of your earning years or just about ready to enjoy your time in the jump seat, HSI Wealth Strategies has your six. Don't wait until you're ready to make your approach to realize you're off course. Give HSI a call and see how much they can help you save.
Because, folks, when it comes to retirement, you only get one approach. Make sure it's on glide path. To get your extra million or so in retirement, email robert.walling@nm.com. That's robert.walling@nm, that's November Mike.com. Or call 214-538-7030. That's 214-538-7030 to get started on your path to wealth and retirement today.
Remember, 214-538-7030. Think of it as 214-JET-7030 to keep you flying high in retirement.
HSI Wealth Strategies, guiding pilots on and off the runway to a smooth landing in retirement.
Boom.
So one of the coolest things you can do in an A-10 is strafe. I mean, the cannon on that thing, it turns me on thinking about it. Mm-hmm. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, there's another one. I think mine is bigger than yours, Tito.
Yeah.
Yours is shinier. You must use yours a lot more than mine because it's shiny.
It's very shiny.
Polishing your bullet, huh? Right. So, well, Quintana, you've got a note about having a lone mover wandering around, and you got cleared hot on him while everyone else is going off to the tanker. And tell us about that, would you?
Yeah, that was one of the most. It was exciting yet very disappointing. You know, I'm out there with. He was like the group commander or something. Just a 2-ship flying in. Shoot, did I even write down where we were flying? I forget.
I think it was it
Hellman?
Kandahar? Hang on.
Kandahar.
The Sangin Valley.
Yeah, Sangin Valley.
Okay, yeah.
You know, we're wheeling up over there, probably working with Halo, the Marine guys, and you know they're tracking somebody, and they see this lone mover down there. This guy just walking through the field, and apparently they had been tracking him for a while, and he had done something nefarious before that, so they had their eye on him, and now he was in the clear. While my flight lead was at the tanker, and typically we don't like to employ solo. You know, you want somebody.
Yeah, mutual support.
Yeah, mutual support. Yeah. But this case, I called him up, said, "Hey, they want me to employ. Is that okay?" He gave me clearance. You know, as a flight lead, and I told the guys, "Hey, let's do it." So they cleared me for 30 Mike guns on this guy. You know, that's the best thing to use. So it took a while because the A-10 today, finding a target, and T-Dub could speak to this better than me because I never got to fly with the HEMIX, the helmet mounted cueing, and how easy you can throw a target, a spot down on the ground and pick it up instantly. Well, when we were doing this, I've got my targeting pod, we're a single seat fighter. So I'm looking out the window. We're one of those jets that you got to see what you're killing with your eyeballs.
Right.
You can't, you're not just picking a point on the ground or coordinates unless it's a JDAM or something. But so I'm finding him in targeting pod and put my HUD down there so I can get that spot and pick him up and then pull off and try to keep him in sight while I'm working around on my ingress angle. So I call in from the west. They clear me hot, and I've got him in sight, but he's running now towards this. It's not brick, of course, it's like mud, but this gigantic thick wall, several feet thick. And I lay down about 150 rounds on him. And when you do that, you pull the trigger. It's loud. The HUD shakes, so you can't see anything at that point. It's like watching squiggly porn when you're a little kid. So it's just squiggles. It all blurs out, and then until you release the trigger, then you can see. And then, but at that point, you got to pull off target. So I laid down the rounds and pulled off target, and then I was looking at my targeting pod screen, the video from it, and you can see the rounds impact in the targeting pod because it was still locked on that area that I was shooting. And right before the rounds impacted, that dude disappeared behind a wall. And then all this 30 millimeter HEI going off, that high explosive incendiary.
Oh boy.
So apparently he started staggering out from behind that wall, trying to go to the other side of the field for some stupid reason. So they cleared me back around, but I couldn't find him on that next time around. And by I did a pass coming back around, couldn't find him, couldn't pick him out in the ground down there. Cause there's green, there's brown, there's all sorts of colors down there. And I lost him. And by the time I came off target the second time, without seeing him, I think my suspicions is that he collapsed in a ditch and expired. But that was,
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Sure.
I'll
take
give you
Kill's a kill.
Eventually he died. He probably just died tired because he was running.
Yeah.
That's one of my patches, that A-10 patch. We would always wear those fun different patches. You can run, but you'll die tired.
Right. So why run?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you got to do some strafing too with tanks, T-Dub.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, I was lucky enough to go to OIF as a lieutenant, and it was a really, really great time. It was a really great time to go to war because everyone was still really like happy and proud, and everyone was all behind us. That was pretty cool too. And, so that was 2003, and we were in the western part of Iraq, and the Haditha Dam up around there. We were just south and west of the Haditha Dam, and there had been bad weather coming in, and we were below the weather trying to shoot Mavericks at tanks. But I'm such a terrible Maverick pilot that I got to strafe it instead. So I couldn't get a lock with the Maverick, and so I said, well, my nose is already pointing at the target, so we'll just start shooting. That was pretty common, for us. If two slews with the Maverick, if I can't get it to lock, and I'm and I've got a good gunshot on it, then I'll strafe it. And so I strafed that tank. I came back. I took the shells from that sortie, and I made a set of shot glasses for my dad.
Nice.
Just because I got to do something he never got to do. So he swore that the depleted uranium shells always made the whiskey get warm, but that's.
Well, that's
why they call it a hot toddy.
you envisioned doing that when you were a kid, and then look at that.
I grew up, kid of the 80s, right? We're 80s kids. We hated Russians. I hated them even more because my dad used to go to Germany every summer, before the wall fell, to do their 2 weeks out there at Alhorn to train to kill Ruskies. And here I was getting a strafe at T-62. So it was the coolest thing. The coolest thing ever, probably, having my kids maybe slightly cooler. I don't know. Depends on the day, how they're acting, but
right?
Whatever they're doing. Yeah. They're getting old now. So
the best part about that shooting the gun is the cockpit fills with the smell of gunpowder.
God,
you can smell
you
it
just
even
drop
through
your mask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, you just drop the mask and go. Just take.
It's just like the best smell. I mean, like the
It's a
toast
smell
we
of
have.
freedom.
You know, we definitely have a toast about the couple great things that smell well in our lives, and we love them both. You know, but gunpowder is definitely a great smell.
Yes, there's no denying that.
Yeah.
Well, you want to tell the toast? We are explicit.
We are explicit.
Yeah.
Well,
Tell the toast.
Now, here's a toast to gunpowder and pussy. Live by one, die by the other. Love the smell of both.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Cheers.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear.
Yeah.
That's a good sound.
My kids are all older, so they still get to see this. So they'll Dad, that's fine. Yeah.
All right.
Well, they all finally figured out what my call sign meant. So, that was a big hurdle in life.
Yeah, I had to hide that for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
G was talking about not telling her kids yet. So.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, man. Fig, I cut you off earlier. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask you about him and Elmer lighting up about 200 barrels of oil.
Oh man, that was fun. I've never seen an explosion so big. But Elmer and I think I was leading the flight, but we were out there flying around, one of those boring days where you check into the fob and, hey, anything going on? No. Okay, well, you got us for the next 90 minutes. So what do you want us to look at? And they usually give you a little area to look at and just say, hey, we've had activity over there. Go slew your pods over there and look. So you just do that and, pass the time. But in this scenario, those guys, I think, were just as bored as we were, and they wanted to see some action. So these were like, it was like a Navy SEAL compound. And, their JTACs were like, hey, we've got these old oil barrels. So they get these like 100-gallon barrels of oil delivered to their fob.
Yeah.
They use the oil and then they throw them all into a gigantic, like football size field ditch that's dug. And then they just fill it up with these barrels. So I don't know how many hundreds of barrels were in there, but they said, they talked us on to this. And yeah, no kidding. It looked like a football field, rectangular area filled with, black barrels. And they said, hey, we need you to take care of those so that, the Taliban doesn't get them and make IEDs. So I'm sure that wasn't going to be the case, but they wanted to see something go boom. So we set up over the target. They cleared us hot, or I think it might've been even like type 3 control where they just let me continue shooting. They basically said, hey, you're cleared hot until further notice. So we came back around. We did like 3 or 4 passes each, but the very first one I did, and I've got the targeting, I've got this on video too, the targeting pod footage. I threw down about 150 rounds, a 30 Mike HEI, high explosive incendiary. It hits the ground and it explodes. The round does. And then you match that with oil residue inside of steel barrels. And it's like a mushroom cloud.
Oh boy.
Explosion. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So
I don't suppose there's any chance you can share that with us and let us.
I do. I might be able to. I don't know if I can send it from my phone to you, but I've got it.
It'd be great if we could put it up now, but otherwise we'll put it in we'll embed it into the blog post for the audio portion of the show at sothereIwas.us.
Yeah.
/episode/148. That's what this will be. So,
but those guys
are almost 150.
Jeez.
Ooh, yeah. How often do you do these?
One a week.
One a week. Yeah.
One a week. Yeah. It's getting going 150 weeks. We've taken, I think, a total of 6 weeks off. We took off 2 weeks last summer and 2 weeks on both Christmases, and that's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, was there more to this? Was there more to this?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I digress.
Was there a big explosion or because there fumes in these tanks? I guess.
It was the biggest explosion I've ever seen, and we did it. We almost ran out of 30 millimeter during.
Did they have lids on the tanks?
I don't know.
If they were like solid, you know what I mean? That's what that would have caused that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I've got the video. I will find out how to send this, because the guys
talking about it
on the ground, they recorded it from the ground point of view, and then they sent us a video put to Top Gun music, but not like cool Top Gun music. It was the love song from Top Gun. And just showing us roll in and showing the explosion from their angle. So we took our targeting pod footage, created a video, and sent it to them. To The Boys Are Back in Town, which is from that Navy SEAL movie with Charlie Sheen.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah.
So we made them a video, and I've got both videos. The call sign was Oxblood.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah, they were cool. I'll see if I can.
But you were a day guy. You got all the action.
I was a day guy.
Yeah.
I was lucky.
Yeah. Night guys
didn't get
a little less action.
That's day guy. DAY.
Yeah. Well.
Just clearing things up.
We could have a different podcast. We could have a different podcast to talk about the other.
Right on.
So in the notes here, Q, you were with Elmer on another sortie. I'm assuming it was a different sortie than this one, when you were watching a convoy that had contact. And
yeah. So that
helpless feeling.
It was. So it's, when you can do something, and when you're out there providing like overwatch or convoy escort or something, it's usually fairly benign, not much going on, but at least you feel like you're providing safety for those guys. They're usually pretty safe when you're doing that. So we were doing that, 3 Humvees just going through a town. But I remember before they got up to that town, had seen a motorcycle with 2 guys on it go over to the road, spend a couple minutes there, and then leave. And I let the convoy leader know that. I said, hey, here's what I saw. 2 military-age males on a motorcycle. They stopped right here, and I gave him the exact coordinates. I don't know what they were doing. I couldn't see that clearly, but they stopped there. So watch that area. So he copied it. They drive through this town, they get to that spot, and the first Humvee goes, and he gets through it just fine. The second Humvee follows, and I don't know how much distance they have between each other, maybe 20 feet. I mean, they're not too spaced out, but the second Humvee passes that exact spot, and he's fine. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe we're okay. Well, that third Humvee gets to that spot, and all I see is dust, just an explosion. The next thing I see when the dust clears is doors open on that Humvee and guys just falling out, like piling out, like on their face and crawling around on their arms, doing that army crawl. And then see guys stand up and try to walk and then collapse again. And I remember, because I kept a combat journal, and I had written in there that was the most helpless I'd ever felt, because all I could do was call, and somebody else had already started calling, one of the other Humvees on station started calling for an evac and calling for help. So there's really nothing I could do. And, when you're in that situation, the whole reason we do this mission is to keep those guys on the ground safe. That's it. It's the 18-year-old with a gun.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Thankfully I did find out, a lot, they all went to the hospital with some broken bones and things like that, but they all survived. So that was good news.
Yeah.
But that's kind of stuff you see it. And man, we see it from 10, 15,000 feet up, and those guys live it.
Yeah. So, it's different. It's different war for pilots.
That's to us, those guys are the heroes, because it's pretty bad for them.
Right. Yeah. And do I have it right in the notes that T-Dub, was it you or which one of you went to the hospital and met up with those lads that you?
Oh, I did that in Iraqi Freedom. Yeah, we had some guys that got hit pretty hard on the Haditha Dam, and matter of fact, I was texting my buddy on Memorial Day, and matter of fact, his wife is your governor there. Repeat, yeah, and we were talking about this time. Yeah, great man, great American, and she's awesome. But we had gone in. This is the best. Back in the day, like when. The internet. So, I mean, that's like 03, right? So he brought this big clunky laptop, but we went to go see these guys who had all been shot up and were trying to bring some cheer to their face. And so Mayor walks in with his laptop because he's got some pictures of some girls not wearing enough clothes but eating sundaes. And so we were showing them to them to cheer them up, and we all had some fun and laughs. But then, you get to the hard part of like, hey, man, like they lost a friend. Matter of fact, long story is that the friend, this guy that I met that we saved his life that day. He was friends with one of my best friends from growing up, like a town over from where I grew up, and like, so we probably hung out together and didn't know it when we were, teenagers.
Small world.
Yeah, small world, right? But, he looks at you and it's like, man, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. That's kind of that's a humbling experience, and I'm not good at being humbled. I generally like to believe that I'm better than everybody. So, having that kind of experience is challenging to me. So I usually run away from them pretty fast.
Right. There you go. So,
repeat. I texted you. Did you get that text?
Oh, let me look for it right now.
Check. See if that video came through.
Yeah. Well, I looked for that. We just got a question that came in.
Yeah. So he's asking if we were ever in Afghanistan in 2006. I was not. My first time there was 2008.
I was not. Yeah, 10. And then Iraq before that.
All right. Because he says he flew Apaches there.
Okay.
Oh. Well, we did a lot of work with Apaches in 10. Matter of fact, that's probably another good Afghanistan story. So we all went out to meet the Apache pilots, and we all took. So 2010, people had Facebook and cameras and internet. So we go and we go out to the Apaches, and we all take some bro pictures. Well, we get the Apache guy to take a picture of all of us next to the Apache, and I couldn't not take a picture of all of us without the brains showing below the flight suit. So I popped something out to keep the memory alive, and then my buddy sends it to his wife without knowing.
Oh, geez.
And then it ends up on Facebook, and then it has to get edited from Facebook.
Oh boy, that's great.
Yeah.
Little Afghanistan ball walking.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Classic.
But those Apache guys are great, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I love fun doing those joint attacks with those guys. I think I did some with the Blackhawks where we were, this is funny. We were at night, we're wearing night vision goggles.
Okay.
And these Taliban fighters on the ground think that they can, if they just stop and lie down, we can't see him anymore.
Yeah.
So we're chasing this guy, and he just stops and lays down in a field. I'm like, oh, buddy, at least you ain't gonna die tired. So I laid down the sparkle, and the 60 just lights them up. So that IR sparkle. So they're wearing night vision goggles. That's the easiest target in the world to hit. Is you just see this bright flash out there, and they just light it up.
Nice.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Right. Hey, so I think this is one of T-Dub's stories about whispering on the radio.
Whispering. Why are we whispering?
Yeah. Why don't you tell that story, will you?
Yeah. So I check into the AO. And I was texting Balls the other day. I can't remember who our wingmen were, but I check in the AO. He's working with British SAS. And they're British dudes are right outside the freaking compound. So they're whispering for a reason, because they're about to bust into this compound and all sorts of bad dudes around. And so they're whispering. So then Balls starts whispering. And so we check in, and he's like, hey, Hawk 5-1. Oh, wait, we were at 7. Hawk 7-1. This is Hawk 7-3. We got these guys. And I'm like, so we're talking, and I agree. I start whispering. And then I'm whispering to my wingmen on our interflight, and so our common freak, we're whispering, our attack freak, because 3 radios in the Hawk. We're whispering on all 3 radios, and finally I'm like, why the fuck are we whispering? They can't hear us. And Paul's like, yeah, good point, T-Dub. Yeah, we can talk now. I'm like, yeah, let's just talk normal. Like, we're all deaf anyway. Yeah. But one of the best things about that story, and I did put it in the show notes, is finally the dudes breached the compound, and we're just doing the mutual support targeting pod in case something goes bad.
Yeah.
And they breach the compound, and some Taliban dude tries to go at their dog. I've never seen more rounds go into a man's chest than I did the day that they tried to shoot the British Special Forces dog, man.
Oh, wow.
They are like, dude, you don't mess with Fido, man. That's
right.
And I mean, this dude he grows to grab his AK, and he just gets lit up like I mean, ridiculous lit up. It was, it was.
Oh, that's
funny,
fantastic.
Yeah. Why are we whispering? So
Yeah.
we still laugh about that. Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's like, that's the thing. There is you're in the middle of combat, and there's opportunities to have humor, and we use it all the time as probably a stress reliever. But I mean, how about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why fighter pilots are such notorious drunks. My grandfather flew in World War II, and those guys were just freaking boozing, right? But they were losing a bro a day or more.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
So you come back to the bar and booze and everything else, and I mean, I think humor for us, especially humor, became because we weren't supposed to have booze. Some of us were snuck it in there, but we're not supposed to have booze in Kandahar or wherever. So
everybody did.
Everybody
general
did.
order number one.
Yeah,
we didn't have that for Iraq, matter of fact. And so I used to drink scotch with Bacchus in OIF. We had a little club and built a deck. Yeah, we actually we had booze in Iraq. That was pretty cool.
Other countries got to drink in Afghanistan. I remember just hopping to different fobs.
Yeah, the French used to drink. Yeah.
The Germans had beer up in Mazar Sharif.
Yeah.
You could go out to the west side.
They had a great setup there.
Oh,
yeah. And they got to wear they get to wear facial hair. I mean, they get beards.
Yeah.
This whole the oxygen mask won't seal. What a bunch of baloney. Or the gas mask,
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, I wish if I could change anything, it'd be let us have beards.
Nice. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about the piss bottle collection. We've been going at this quite a bit here.
Wow.
About an hour and 25 or so.
Oh my God! How did the time go so fast?
So let's ask about the piss bottle collection. After we stop recording, I got the video. I'll play the video so those watching live on YouTube can get it.
There's that was piddle packs right there.
Those are piddle packs.
That's how Quintana throws
you
up.
can fill those up quickly.
Yeah. And then I will also include this video at sotherewas.us/episode/148. So you'll get to see the video either if you're watching live now or watching on YouTube, and then you'll get to see it on our website. But so either way, you'll get to see it. But I won't spend 3.5 minutes now while we're chatting running that video. But that'll be cool. I can't wait to see this. So yeah. So the piss bottle collection, because you didn't want to get your ass chewed.
So, man, combat is a kind of a funny thing. You go to combat, you think you're there to kill people and break things.
Yeah.
And then you find out, there's all these chiefs on base, and their number one job is to make sure your uniform looks perfect. You're wearing your reflective belt at all times so the enemy has a clear shot at you.
That's right.
After dark. and you got your PT shirt tucked in. Right. So in the first time I was deployed 08 in Bagram, we lived in bee huts. So they're just plywood shacks that Red Horse comes in and puts up, 20 minutes, probably put them up, and you sector it off into 8 rooms. So you got the 7 foot high plywood walls, you could see over the walls to each other's rooms, but it's just plywood with a bunk bed and like a cabinet to keep stuff in, dirt floor basically. And it's dark 24/7 because everybody's on a different schedule. So you never have the lights on because
there's no windows. Hey, there's no windows there.
There's no windows.
It's boarded up. It's tight.
So it's great as far as sleeping conditions. It's really dark and you just, have a fan on for that white noise. But it was freezing. We got there in January in 08 and Afghanistan's cold. Bagram's cold, colder than Kandahar. It would snow there. So it's wintertime. And, we drink water like crazy because, I don't know.
Well, Bagram's at 50. It's Denver.
It's
like 5,300 feet.
So you get thirsty. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and there's pallets of bottled water everywhere. So there's, always plenty. So we're drinking. And then in the middle of the night, you gotta piss. Well, I'm not going to put on a uniform and lace up my shoes and walk 50 yards to get to the nearest latrine. It's cold out. So I'm just going to pull out one of these little bottles and, they're the normal water bottle with the tiny little opening. So you just do your best.
Perfect size for you, buddy.
Perfect size. Yeah. I don't know why everybody else had such an issue. But but you're in the dark and you're doing your best to aim, and you fill it up. Sometimes you got to change it out with another one, kind of like Dumb and Dumber when he's peeing in those bottles in the car. And then, so what we do, once every 2 weeks, somebody would rotate out and go to LUD to sit in the kayak and do the tanker planning. And so one guy was always gone. So when that guy came back to his room, guess where all the bottles were?
Yeah.
They were all in his room. I mean, I would be leaving the bee hut and to go to the bathroom, and another guy would stop me. He would stop me and be like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I'm going to the bathroom." He's like, "No, you're not. You're using a bottle." So I'd use a bottle just to add to the collection. And then, I went to the kayak, of course. I came back and there's 187 bottles in my room that I then have to step around to get to my bed and wait till the next guy leaves, and I can put him in.
Someone's been drinking.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So,
man,
it's funny how you devolve.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're deployed. Yeah.
I can so relate, brother.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you for that.
Indeed. Fig,
What do you think?
let's say we land this airplane, man.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, so let me say this, gents. I can't even express, words don't do it justice, but, it's all I got. So thank you for your service to our country. It sounds hollow, but it's telling you that's all I can say. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart, because I know what you guys been through.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, I'm glad we served together. Yeah.
Well, look at those studs.
Legends right there.
Legends in your own mind.
Yeah.
I actually look more like a pedophile than he does.
You do, because of that
I look
mustache.
like the one who
you got.
should have married my sponsor does.
I think it was the
family's
mustache that did that.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. So, all right.
Yeah,
And thank
we
you to your
appreciate. I
families.
appreciate what you guys are doing too. I mean,
Yeah.
keeping these stories alive.
Yeah, it's awesome
fun.
keeping these stories. Yeah.
I never get tired of hearing stories.
Get tired of it.
Yeah,
Everybody's
some of
got
this stuff
stories.
gets lost.
And
Yeah.
it's amazing how similar and different they all are at the same time. So,
Yeah. Right. I think the coolest part about the fighter pilot stuff, and what we'll take to, for us forever is more the bond that fighter pilots have. We'll laugh, cry, whatever about the stories, but man, like that brotherhood, that is something, second maybe only to our special forces,
right.
I mean, really, it's the brotherhood we all share. And when you're flying around, you run into other guys, and you find single seat guys, you just like, it just kind of, you're like, yeah, we all did that same thing.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Well, it's an instant bond because you already know. You already know how it is. It's not
exactly.
Bingo.
Yeah, you know what you've been through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no amount of dick measuring going on. It's like, nope, you're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Right?
Bingo. Bingo. So,
That was pretty hard. That was pretty harsh. Sorry about that.
Pretty harsh. You should tell us a longer story.
yeah. Couple other quick thank yous we need to get out there. First of all, Dave Hamilton over at backbeatmedia.com. Dave handles our advertising, and Dave has a couple other shows of his own, the Geek Gab, the Mac Geek Gab, and the Business Brain for entrepreneurs. So give some of Dave's shows a listen. You won't be disappointed. Good stuff.
Thanks, Dave. And hey, we got to thank Bago and Sticks, who are in the background right now. Yeah,
those guys are awesome. Huh?
Those guys are awesome.
Right?
They are the actual brains of the whole damn operation. So thanks, Jim.
The shit they're able to put up before you even think of saying it. They've already got
Canadian Unicorn.
Yeah. How
There
did
it is
he do
again.
that? How did he do that? I do not know.
Grok.
It's
The fact that she probably looked a lot like that.
well,
Yeah,
I wish we had that picture. I don't remember who took it. I think
why
Nigel
such a
took that
long
picture.
face?
Yeah. Quite a long face.
so a desert 10 is probably a 5 everywhere else, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we
say
know that 'cause
binary.
we had a med tech who she wanted to extend her deployment because she was a fan favorite out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny how that
Not
works.
loved out there.
And I hate to and we'll abort this landing here real quick and ask if either of you guys ever heard of Six Gun Sally.
Oh yeah.
Six Gun Sally.
Sally.
No.
Okay. So that was one. Where was she at? She was down in Qatar, wasn't she?
It was Al-Udeid. Yeah.
Or Al-Udeid. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's where Lawman was. And
Yeah.
she was legendary. Yeah. In Afghanistan, apparently she was a smoking hot Air Force captain that wore a white bikini to the pool and had 6 guns tattooed.
Oh, wow.
Going into the hips. Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking putting a pool at Al-Udeid, man.
Right?
That's
right.
pool's a deed. Oh, my God. Yeah.
Well,
You can't put enough chlorine in that pool.
Yeah. So 6 Gun Sally, if you're out there, you got to come on with us, dear.
You got to find her.
No, don't come on. Just send a picture.
Yeah, just send pictures.
Yeah, it's good. Great quote.
Yeah, exactly.
Good,
So,
but the
all
good
right.
are on.
We also need to thank Badass over at BDS, aviationphotography.com. He usually joins us. I don't see him here today. He's probably working for a living.
He's taking pictures.
Bastard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm taking pictures. Some amazing photography. His photography is not pictures. It's art. I mean, the guy takes some amazing shots.
No,
There's
it's world-class.
one right there.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thanks also to our sponsor, HSI Wealth Strategies, and the Fighting Through podcast.
Okay.
What happened there?
I have no idea. Somebody's fingers got fast while they were pulling down a picture. But okay, we withdraw our thank you to Sticks and Bago. Oh man!
You know what? That was just an attention getter. That's all that was.
So, hey, thanks to our Patreon and direct supporters. Boom! I don't know if you saw the email today, Fig, or not.
I did.
Yeah. Aircav Chris, God bless you, man. He dropped 2.25 on us.
Aircav Chris. Obviously, his brain's been shaken too much by being in a helicopter.
Right.
He's lost all judgment. But thank you for doing that. That's very humbling, and we are questioning your judgment. But thank you.
Yeah. It clearly has. It clearly has shaken your brain, but we're appreciative of it anyway. So, hey, Fig, how about getting us some ratings? See if you can work on that for us. How would you do that?
Well, so there I was. .us/rate. 5 stars, baby. If you can't give us 5, tell us what would make it 5, because Repeat and I are trainable.
Right. And if you insist on giving 3 stars, go find another show and give them.
Send it to one of those other aviation podcasts.
You just got another 5-star rating just now.
All right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, Q,
Appreciate that.
Come on.
You got
T-Dub, step up, brother.
173 5-star ratings now
Q, you're awesome. Thanks.
on Apple.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, an Apple Podcast.
Yeah,
I did
man.
that the other day, bro. It's on there.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was at,
All right.
I got a lift, so while I was lifting, I was listening, you know?
Nice.
There you go.
Thanks, bro.
So, well, you lifting and getting that body in shape, then you should wander over T-Dub to us/merch. Get yourself a bikini.
You need a bikini, bro.
Hey,
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm actually known for wearing Speedos and wrestling singlets to parties, so
Well, you could rock that.
probably
I
bring a
guarantee it.
bikini into it now,
Yeah.
too.
he always brings an extra too and forces somebody else to put a singlet on so they can Greco-Roman wrestle.
Yeah, like
He
in,
likes to feel the
what's that
hot
Ladies'
breath
Man
on the
movie?
back of his neck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the years to go with it, but I grew up wrestling.
That's rich. That's awesome. Thank you. I don't need a core workout today. I've done it.
Done.
Nice.
Been there, done that today.
Uh-oh. That's that noise. Oh.
Huh?
That's
I know what that is.
That's the Air Force F-16 pilots make the Air Force sound
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
That's the Dos Gringos.
Count them 2.
Thank you, Dos Gringos. 4
We gotta
albums,
have
not
them
a
back
bad
on.
song on any. Yeah, we got to have them back on.
Yeah.
They did
And we got to
put out
have
a
you
couple
two back
new
on.
songs.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this with us.
You know what's going to happen? This is going to happen. I'm telling you right now. 10 minutes from now, when we're all done, you're going to go, oh, I should have told him that story. Oh, I should have told that.
Probably.
So write some bullets down. Okay?
We'll do it.
We'll have you back.
All right.
Do it. Yeah.
All right.
Hold you
I'll be
to
back.
it.
But in the meantime, everybody stay safe and check 6.
Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. 'Cause when you're going down in the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
Hold on. What?
He says it's over.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
I never know what's coming when you.
Me neither.